Hello guys, welcome to the Knowledge Zone, the concept of life sciences and biotechnology. In this lecture, we are focusing on the gastrointestinal physiology, and in the previous lectures, we have learned the enteric nervous system, the hormones, paracrines, and the neurocrines related to the GI tract physiology and the GI tract motility. In this lecture, we are going to learn the various secretions that is happening in the GI tract. And we'll start with the saliva production and the secretion. So the major characteristics of the saliva, it is high bicarbonate, potassium, and it is hypotonic that we'll discuss why it is hypotonic, and these are the enzymes present in the saliva. It is stimulated by the parasympathetic nervous system as well as the sympathetic nervous system. This is the only organs which is stimulated by both nervous systems and inhibited by the sleep, dehydration, and atrophy. Alpha amylase, the enzyme is a tyline, and it is responsible for digestion of the starch, the beginning of the digestion, and the lingual lipase that is responsible for the fat or the triglyceride means hydrolysis at the beginning of the digestive process. And one of the important function of the saliva is the lubrication, and it protects the mouth. So the concentration or the tonicity of the saliva depends on the flow rate. So when there is a low flow, there is a sodium concentration, bicarbonate, chloride, and potassium all are low. And the increasing the flow rate, concentration of the sodium, bicarbonate, chloride, potassium, it increases. But the final concentration of solutes in the saliva compared to the plasma is the hypotonic. So sodium is less compared to the plasma. Bicarbonate is more. Plasma has a more chloride than the saliva, and the saliva has the more potassium than the plasma. So why we are having this type of scenario that we will be discussing. So this saliva is secreted mostly by the three type of salivary glands. One is the parotid gland. It is found close to the ear. And there are the sublingual and there is the submandibular salivary glands. So how they look like? These are the grape-shaped structure. You can see these are the duct terminals which are closed, and from where they started secreting saliva and they move along this, and finally they release their content in the mouth. So these are the grape-like structures. So this is the place, the end terminus, which is made up of the acinar cells, and it is overlapped with the myoepithelial cells. When they contract, they actually squeeze the content of the salivary duct into the mouth. So this is possible because the contractile function of the myoepithelial cell, and these acinar cells, they secrete the saliva. So in the beginning, this is isotonic to the plasma. They are mostly the sodium and the potassium. And when they move along this duct, then you can see the sodium absorbed and the chloride also absorbed, and the potassium and the bicarbonate, they are released into the duct. So the longer time it will pass, the longer time it will spend in the duct, the sodium concentration will be lower and the potassium and the bicarbonate concentration will be the higher. So the longer it will stay, there will be hypotonicity. The concentration of the solute will decrease, and the faster it will release into the stomach, it will be slightly more concentrated. So the absorption of the sodium and the chlorine is possible because of the aldosterone, and because we are seeing this hypotonic is possible because this ductal wall is impermeable to the water, and this bicarbonate is secreted by another process. So how the regulation of the saliva production is happening? This is the parasympathetic nerve system. It is executed by the cranial nerve 7 and the 9, and this is the sympathetic system. So first we will start with the parasympathetic system. So the information from here, they will go to the muscarinic receptor, which is the acetylcholine is the ligand, and this is the inhibitor atropine, means it inhibits the saliva secretion atropine. So when the ligand acetylcholine, they bind with the muscarinic receptor, in the intracellular side, the second messenger are the IP3, inositol triphosphate, and the intracellular calcium. And because of that, there is the vasodilation is happening. And because of that, there is the increased saliva production. So parasympathetic nervous system stimulates the salivary glands to secrete more saliva. And it is stimulatory agents or the conditionings are food, nausea, and the smell. And the inhibitory conditionings are the dehydration, fear, sleep, and the anticholinergic drugs. Okay. And this is the saliva production is not regulated by the gastrointestinal hormone that we have studied earlier. It is parasympathetic and sympathetic. And it is the only glands where both of them they have the stimulatory effect or they increase the production of the saliva. Sympathetic nerve through the norepinephrine, this is the ligand, and they bind to the adrenergic receptor, beta adrenergic receptor, and the second messenger is the CNP in the cytosol, and they also lead to the vasodilation. And finally, there is the increased production of saliva both by the stimulation of the parasympathetic as well as the sympathetic nervous system. So these are the gastric cell types and their secretion. The parietal cell, the muscarinic receptors are found. Intracellular signaling molecules are the IP3 and the calcium. And the other three types of cells are the chief cells, G cells, and the mucous cells. So where they are found, the parietal cells are found in the body or the fundus. The chief cells also found in the body or the fundus, and the G cells and the mucous cells are found in the antrum, means the distal part of the stomach. So we know the parietal cells they secrete the hydrochloric acid, and the stimulants are the gastrin, acetylcholine, histamine. Acetylcholine is the neurotransmitter or the neurocrine that is secreted from the vagus nerve, so the vagal stimulation. The another substance that is secreted from the parietal cells is the intrinsic factor. Chief cells they secrete the enzyme pepsinogen, which is inactive in the presence of the low pH. They converted to the pepsin, which means degrade, which actually digests or the hydrolyzes the longer peptides in the smaller one. And this is also vagal stimulation, acetylcholine stimulation. The G cell gastrin and the stimulation are the vagal stimulation by the GRP, small peptides, and it is emitted, we have discussed, by the somatostatin as well as the low pH of the stomach. And the mucous cell, the mucus and the pepsinogen are the secretory products, and it is stimulated by the vagal stimulation. So this is the gastric parietal cells. So here the carbon dioxide and water, they are combined together by the carbonic anhydrase, and because of that there is a H2CO3 is formed, and it dissociates in the aqueous solution to H plus and the HCO3 minus. And you can see here that this H plus, it is by the proton potassium antipode or the proton potassium ATPase. It is secreted into the lumen of the stomach, and the proton is accompanied by another negative charge, the chloride. So the parietal cells secrete the HCl. So there is the net neutrality of the means HCl. There is one H plus is going out, one chloride is going out. So one potassium is going in here. So on this side to the blood, there is a net release of the bicarbonate, and this sodium, the potassium which is coming here. So this is the potassium is coming here, and the sodium is going out. So there is the net change in the charge here also because of the sodium potassium ATPase. So whatever bicarbonate is generated here, this chloride is coming. So this is the net negative charge. So this is the chloride bicarbonate antipode. So there are the one negative charge going in, another negative charge going out. So this is also net. So whatever potassium is coming here, there is the leakage of the potassium that we have discussed the signaling in one of the previous discussions. So this bicarbonate, it will finally release into the GI tract through the pancreatic secretion, that is in the duodenum. Okay, so what are the agents? This is the gastric parietal cells. These are the vagus direct stimulation to the M3 receptor, muscarinic receptor that we have already discussed. And the agent of the agonist is acetylcholine intracellular signaling. This is the G protein Q. And the second messenger are the IP3 and the calcium. This is the proton potassium ATPase or the proton pump. They secrete the H plus, means they secrete H plus, it is equivalent to Cl minus, that's why we call it HCl. And the inhibitor of the proton pump is the omeprazole that is in use. So there is another action of the vagus or the vagal stimulation, that is the indirect. Through the GRP, it activates the G cells. G cells also activated by the distension of the stomach. And because of that, the gastrin is secreted and it goes and bind to the CCKB receptor, and through the same pathway they activate the proton potassium ATPase to release or to secrete H plus into the lumen of the stomach. And this is the ECL cell, enterochromaffin like. So they release the histamine, which is a paracrine that is released in the vicinity of the stomach cells, and they work there, and its activity through the H2 receptors. And this is the G stimulative signal. Second messenger is the CAMP. They activate the H plus K plus ATPase. So the histamine is actually inhibit the function of the gastrin. So this is a paracrine. And the other inhibitory functions are the somatostatin and the prostaglandins. They through the GI they inhibit the CAMP signaling. And the low pH of the stomach also inhibited the H plus secretion. So what are the G cells? Mean the stimulatory, the stimulus, the eating a meal, because of that there is a distension of the stomach, as well as there is the smaller peptides. So because of that the G cells activated, and because of that gastrin is secreted, and this gastrin go and bind to the CCKB receptor of the parietal cells, and there is the secretion of the HCl, so that there will be the acidic environment in the stomach. Okay, so somatostatin, inhibiting the histamine. Actually, this is the paracrine function as well as the histamine. What histamine is actually, it is responsible for H plus secretion, whereas somatostatin inhibited the histamine as well as it inhibited the gastrin also. So there will be the inhibition in the H plus secretion as well as the prostaglandin. So this is the pancreatic secretion. In that, the major characteristics of the pancreatic secretion of the bicarbonate, and it is isotonic, unlike the saliva, which is hypotonic. And the enzymes, the pancreatic secretion, the pancreatic lipase, amylase, and the protease. It is stimulated by the secretin, CCK. CCK potentiates the secretin and parasympathetic nervous system for the bicarbonate secretion, and for the various enzymes, it is the same CCK and the parasympathetic nervous systems. So like saliva, here also you can see this is also grape-like structures. And in the beginning, you can see that the potassium and the sodium are secreted. And with the increase in the flow rate, there is the increase in bicarbonate secretion and the decrease in the chloride secretion. So in the final, means the concentration of the solutes in the pancreatic secretions it is isotonic to that of plasma, whereas the saliva was hypotonic. So sodium is similar to plasma, potassium is similar to plasma, and depending on the flow rate, the bicarbonate is either higher in concentration, It concentration, it increases sharply, and chloride concentration decreases sharply. It is depend on the flow rate. But the finally it is isotonic, and these are the major constituents. So this is the pancreatic duct cells. It is almost like the parietal cells, only the difference in the parietal cells as flush was secreted. In this case, bicarbonate was secreted. This is to neutralize those as flush that will be present in the duodenum when there will be gastric emptying is happening, so that finally there will be an alkaline environment will be created at the duodenum. That is possible because of the bicarbonate. So from where we are getting this bicarbonate, this is the bicarbonate that enter the plasma because of the activity of the parietal cells in case of the gastric cells. Means in the parietal cells present in the stomach. So from there is a bicarbonate, that is net release of the bicarbonate into the plasma, that is released here. How the bicarbonate transported? It is transported in the form of carbon dioxide as well as HCO3 minus also. So in this case, the sodium proton form, this is the blood. So whatever H plus is generated here, it is going into the blood. And this is the same sodium potassium ATPase that is maintaining the concentration of the sodium and the potassium in case of the pancreatic duct cell as well as in the plasma. So bicarbonate is generated in the parietal cells, and that is related into the plasma, and that plasma it donates or it the destination of the bicarbonate in the pancreatic duct cell. From that it will again release into the duodenum. So that the acidic environment created in the stomach will be neutralized here to make an alkaline environment. And the terminal ileum, the sodium bile acid co-transport, it is secondary active transport. That is to recirculate the bile acid to the liver. That will be discussed in the following slides. So here the secretin second messenger is the CAMP, and this parasympathetic vagal reflexes the ligands or the neurocrine, the acetylcholine, and the CCK second messenger are the IP3 and the calcium. Next is the bile secretion, the gallbladder function. This is the composition of the bile salts, which is amphipathic, means it has a hydrophilic portion and the hydrophobic portion. Because of that, there is a micellar form, and that helps in the emulsification of the fats. Then there are the bilirubin, phospholipid, cholesterol, bile pigments. Those are examples of the bilirubin. It is stimulated by the CCK that we can see here, that cause contraction of the gallbladder. That causes this is the positive, and relaxation of the sphincter of the Oddi. And parasympathetic nervous system cause contraction of the gallbladder. So gallbladder, when it is constricted, the bile stored in the gallbladder will be released into the duodenum. And because of that, there will be the mycelia will be formed that will help in the emulsification of the fats. Okay, this is the distal part of the intestine, where there will be the reabsorption of the bile salts as well as the sodium. So secretin, that is responsible for the bicarbonate of water secretion by the liver or the hepatocytes, and it increases the bile production. So from the hepatocyte, there is the bicarbonate secretion. It is possible because of the secretin. And these are the bile salts, folic acid and the cyanodeoxycholic acids, and they are parent molecules are the cholesterols. The secondary bile acids by the bacteria, bile acids are prepared by the bacteria. Those are the deoxycholic acid, folic acid to deoxycholic acids, and the lithocholic acids. So secondary bile acids are possible because of the bacteria. And these are the bile acids plus glycine and the taurine equal to bile salts. And depending on what is the bile acid, these are the names are like this. So like the taurocolic acid is the cholic acid conjugated with the taurine. So like the bile acid is the cholic acid, taurine, so it is taurocolic acids. So like this, bile salts are prepared. CCK released from the eye cells of the duodenum and the jejunal mucosa, we have already discussed, in the presence of the smaller peptides and the amino acids, as well as the fatty acids and the monoglycerides. And this is the vagal stimulation. We have discussed here parasympathetic acetylcholine that is responsible for the activity of the CCK. So that the gallbladder, so whatever bile will be generated in the liver, they will be stored in the gallbladder that will be released into the duodenum by the activity of the CCK. So gallbladder constriction, the sphincter of Oddi relaxation. This happens in the simultaneously so that the content of the gallbladder will be squeezed into the duodenum lumen. And as we have discussed in the previous slide, terminal ileum contains sodium bile acid co-transport that is responsible for these bile salts to be recirculated into the liver. This is possible because there is a sodium bile acid co-transporter present in the terminal ileum.